What is going on, everybody? Welcome back into TTP Sports. That is 3 straight wins for the Flyers coming out of the All-Star break as they beat Dave Haxtell and the Seattle Kraken by a score of 3-2. Scott Laughton records a power play goal, another shorty for Ryan Poehling. That is back-to-back games with a shorty for him. And then Sean Couturier, after, he made a big mistake and had a bad shift on the game-tying goal in the start of the third period by Seattle. Sean Couturier gets a nice redirection off of a shot from a face-off win by Travis Sanheim, and he directs it home, gives the Flyers the game-winning goal, and that spells a 3-game winning streak. And hell, you won a close game, a tight defensive game, with Cal Peterson in the net. He got the start tonight, and honestly, I'll say he was pretty solid. He made the saves when he needed to make the saves. There were some breakdowns at certain parts of the game, and he did come up huge when needed. Didn't face that many shots. He only faced 19, so that basically showcased how the Flyers kept everything really to the outside and nothing was really dangerous. The first Seattle goal was a breakdown. They left Thomas Tatar way too wide open in the slot, and I believe Matty Beniers was able to get the deflection home. They said it was Matty Beniers' goal, but right now on NHL.com it says it's Tatar's goal. So still, regardless, the Flyers did decide to challenge that for offsides. They took a little bit to decide to challenge it, and the challenge and the review took way too long. I guess looking at the replay and everything, when you see it on social media and everything like that, even on the scoreboard in the arena, that I guess it was just too close to tell, and there really wasn't anything fully conclusive to determine if the play was offsides. So the play stood as it was a good goal, and then the Flyers got, penalized with a bench minor for a delay of the game after that. But hey, maybe you can consider that a good challenge by John Tortorella, because that was the ensuing penalty kill that Poehling scored on. So I guess Torts was thinking 20 steps ahead in that type of scenario. Hey, if we don't win this challenge and it's a 1-1 game, hey, we got a shorthanded chance. We could probably get the lead right back on a shorty. Because, we all know how dangerous this team is on the power kill. I'll tell you that right there for free. And hell, for Scott Laughton, good game for him. This is probably his most notable game in a while, noticeable game, where he actually was very engaged and he looked like he played good out there. First time in a while that he did that, and I guess he gets rewarded with a power play goal. Flyers power play in the first period, second unit out there. A little give and go between Cam York and Scott Laughton. Frost also got an assist in there as well, but freaking Scott Laughton, where did that one-timer come from? One-timer top cheese bar down? Where the hell did that come from? In and out of the net? I never seen that before. I didn't expect to see that from Scott Laughton. I didn't think that he had that in his bag. But apparently he does. Good for him, especially, with all the trade rumors that are going around there. Talking about Scott Laughton, basically a lot of trade rumors circling around a lot of, players on the Flyers right now. Scott Laughton being one of them. Sean Walker, Rasmus Ristolainen are mixed in there with the trade rumors. So there's been, going around a bunch right there, with the way as we're getting closer and closer and closer towards the NHL trade deadline. But good for Scotty Laughton to get that goal. Definitely needs that type of confidence. I don't know what his future is for the rest of the season, if he's going to get traded or not. I know the Flyers' asking price right now is a first-round pick, and especially with how weak the center depth is during this NHL trade deadline, they can definitely get that, especially for what Sean Monahan was able to get back from the Winnipeg Jets. So that definitely is something there that the Flyers could pounce on. But also, the Flyers did not trade Scott Laughton during the offseason for a first-round pick. So they really value Scott Laughton and what he brings to that locker room. But I think if a team comes in and offers another first-round pick for Scott Laughton, I really think you need to take that risk. I think you need to make that trade and get a first-round pick in there for Scott Laughton, because you swung and missed on the first time, and there might be a chance where you get a second plate appearance getting that first-round pick, just because that's how weak the center availability is during this trade deadline. There really isn't much left to take, and especially with Sean Walker too, they're could possibly get a second-round pick, a first-round pick for Sean Walker, just because of because he's a right shot defenseman. Teams value that a lot, and it really, results on what I believe Tanev gets from Calgary and all that stuff. So we'll definitely see how everything goes there. But yeah, good game for Scott Laughton. And overall, I did love, Sean Couturier responding to that mistake that he made on that, second Kraken goal, because Flyers, they lose a puck battle in the offensive zone, goes the other way, goes down low into the corner. Coots gets his stick lifted, and then on the initial shot by Jared McCann, it deflects off Coots' stick, and then it just does a weird like hover over Cal Peterson's blocker and into the net. So that was just an overall poor shift by Sean Couturier. And there was something that Torts, I believe I saw it on Twitter. I think Jordan Hall posted about it in terms of what Torts said on the bench or said in the post-game presser about that Sean Couturier situation. Basically said he was giving Sean Couturier an earful, and basically that the goal scored and the goal celebration was a big FU to John Tortorella, and Torts loved that. So, hey, it was funny too. I was saying this to myself during the game. When was the last time Sean Couturier scored a goal? He's got to be overdue at some point to score a goal, and hey, there you go. He gets the game-winning bingo and a nice redirection, play. So, yeah. Overall, I would say this game was 100 times better performance and a better 60 minutes than it was against the Winnipeg Jets a couple of days ago. That second period definitely was a bit iffy. I feel like they gave Seattle just a little bit too much breathing room, especially in the offensive zone. They gained a lot of, offensive zone pressure there, and also Decord for their goaltender kept him in the game. He was making ridiculous save after ridiculous save. He was really stellar in there for him, when the Flyers were getting their chances. And they did have a lot of situations in this game where the Flyers had a lot of offensive zone pressure. Even during some power plays, they have a shot that hits the post. They have a rebound that they can't bury, and, it's all that stuff. Some good shots where he makes some good saves, good rebound control, just making those saves when he needs to. Dackard, that is. And he kept Seattle in the game. There were just certain situations where I would say maybe the one goal that he probably wants back is the Paling goal, just because it went 5-hole, and you really don't want to give up a goal 5-hole in that situation. So, but overall, he was the main reason why Seattle was in the game. And still, credit in the world to Cal Peterson, got his number called, and he played solid for what it was worth. Like I said, didn't really face that much. And really, both of the goals weren't his fault. I think the first goal, there was just a couple of guys in front of the net where it took his eyes away. And then the second goal that Seattle scored went off of Coots' stick, so you really can't do anything about that if you're a goaltender. All you got to do is make the saves when you can make the saves, and Cal Peterson especially did that today. So do I expect him to do that consistently throughout the rest of the season? Because Cal Peterson is definitely going to be getting his number, called upon during this backstretch of the year, because I don't expect John Tortorella to run Sam Ersson into the ground in terms of playing him every single day. That's just not going to happen, especially with how young Ersson is, still inexperienced in the NHL. You just don't want to do that to a young goaltender, and you are going to have to rely on the veteran Cal Peterson, with his numbers not being the best. But, when Cal Peterson, when he gets his number called, can he just put up performances like this on a consistent basis? I can't guarantee that. He played good tonight, and hopefully he can continue that the rest of the way when his number does get called. But, yeah, you found a way to win a close game with Cal Peterson in the net, and that's, stands mighty. Like I said, I think this is their best overall game since coming back from the break. They played a fantastic last two periods in Florida. The game against Winnipeg, they played a great first period. It really sucked in the second and the third. I think this game was really the more consistent 60 minutes, even though there was some iffiness in that second period in the beginning of the third. It was still more of a consistent 60 minutes that we've seen in these first three games since the All-Star break. So maybe they're getting their legs back in the check more, and they're playing with a lot of energy. The Wells Fargo Center was rocking tonight, and especially a lot of the energy that the guys had on each goal. Laughton's goal, Paling's goal, with the way that they're celebrating with the crowd, Coots' energy after his, go-ahead goal. The Fargo was rocking, especially, it's a Saturday night. Bring your family to the game. And it's, for a team like Seattle, new team in the league, people want to go see Seattle and all that stuff. It was one of the louder, Wells Fargo centers that I've heard this year in terms of Flyers games. And that's saying a lot, especially getting into this back stretch of the season when you're getting closer to the trade deadline and then getting closer to the push of the playoffs. So, hey, you start off the post-All-Star break 3-0. You get 6 points. And that definitely is important because I believe the Islanders and the Penguins lost today. So you get yourself some more breathing room in the Metropolitan standings in terms of, your placement there. So that definitely is important at the end of the day. And if we look at those standings, just to, see the Metropolitan Division, Flyers, they are 28, 19, and 6. They got 62 points on the year. They are 6 points separated from the New York Islanders. They are 8 points separated from the New Jersey Devils, and they're 9 points separated from the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Washington Capitals. So they do got some breathing room. They got one. The Islanders have 1 game in hand. The Devils have 3 games in hand. The Penguins, they have 4 games in hand. So a lot of these teams do have games in hand on the Flyers. So we'll see, how that catches up. That just, makes it even more important that you're getting these wins. So that definitely makes it even more important if you lost these games, especially with those teams having those games in hand. It makes every point, mean more at the end of the day. So, it's very good starting off this post All-Star break. 3-game winning streak here. You got some other games up here on the docket. 1 more game at home before you go on a 3-game road trip. So you got off tomorrow, of course, for Super Bowl Sunday. Not many teams play on Super Bowl Sunday besides the Super Bowl. So you got Monday, 7 p.m. against the Arizona Coyotes at home. And then you go on your 3-game road trip. 2 days off before you play the Toronto Maple Leafs on the 15th. And then on the 17th, it's the outdoor game in MetLife Stadium against the Devils. And then after that, you got 3 days off until you play the Chicago Blackhawks and Connor Bedard on the 21st. That's on the road. Then you come back home for the 24th, a Saturday against the New York Rangers. Follow that up on a back-to-back traveling to Pittsburgh on the 25th. And then you close out the month of February at home on a Tuesday the 27th against the Tampa Bay Lightning. And then you get into your March schedule, but we're not going to look that far away, just looking at the rest of the month here of February. Got some important stuff going on here, man. Got some, some big games, getting some big wins, getting some separation in the standings, all important, especially in this back stretch. And you're getting contributions from everywhere here, man. Paling has been very good since the break has conceded. Scott Lawton had a really good game today. TK has been on the tear. Morgan Frost, I still think, is playing a very strong game. He's very noticeable out there on the ice. Who else? Obviously, goaltending is there with Harrison with the way that he's been playing. Basically just everyone in the lineup, giving their 2 cents. That's basically all what it matters at the end of the day. Roll 4 lines. Everyone finds their way to chip in from the forwards, from the defensemen, from your goaltenders. And that's basically what happens in these first 3 games. So, really good stuff here from the Fly guys. Really good stuff. Nice little 3-game win streak to come after the All-Star break. Definitely makes up for that 5-game losing streak going into it. And I really wasn't concerned about this team going into the All-Star break. It just looked like, especially with the games that they were playing, they really weren't playing bad hockey. They maybe had like 1 or 2 bad games. I think their worst game definitely was against Boston. But when you look at those games against Colorado, against Tampa, they really didn't play bad. They just were on the bad side of things, especially like, when Nate McKinnon went off, when Kucherov went off. I really didn't think this team played that badly during that stretch of the 5-game losing streak, and maybe eventually everything would even out. Now, you got your rest, you got that full week off from the All-Star break and your bye week, and everyone's refreshed, everyone's healthy, everyone's ready to go, and now it's time for the backstretch toward the trade deadline and the push for the playoffs. So, yeah, very exciting stuff here, guys. I want to hear your thoughts about it. So don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It does me a great deal of service. Also use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. Great deal. Don't pass it up. Get yourself down to the Wells Fargo Center. See this Flyer squad. Very entertaining. You will not regret it. Great deal. Do not pass it up. Thank you guys for tuning into this when you decide to tune in whenever. And I'll see you next time.